Hi, today is Monday, March 24th, 2025. Tomorrow is my payday. This weekend, especially this Thursday night, I go back to Gwangju to meet my family and acquaintances and enjoy my 4-day holiday there. And this Friday, I have annual physical checkup, which I don't like because every time they put a needle in my body and I have to go through the stethoscope to look into, I forgot the name of the gadget, that's the scope that looks into your stomach and throat. And to do that, you need to take a pill or you need to get injected with some sleep-inducing liquid, which is quite tiring. But that's according to the law. According to the law, that's required, right? Today, I'm going to restart reading an English article every day. I had some cough and cold and bronchitis, I think, so that for the past 2 weeks I was lethargic and didn't practice English that much. So here I'm almost fully recovered. So I'm going to read his article from Rick Steves, right? He's he's a tour guide on the internet, and I thought he was Canadian, but he is American, right? I think maybe he majored in history. I don't know. Let's find out what kind of open letter to Canadians, right? Recently, we've heard from a few of our long-standing Canadian customers who signed up for a 2025 Rick Steves tour, but are now considering canceling. They still love our style of travel, but they are struggling to reconcile doing business with an American company. One customer wrote, "As Canadians, we now are in new and unexpected territory. Your president has created a very hostile environment with his bullying and threats against Canada. In a unified effort to fight back and stand up, we, like most Canadians, are not buying what? In a unified effort to fight back and stand up, we, like most Canadians, are not buying American products, not traveling to the USA, and attempting not to support the USA in any way within our power. We feel that the people who were once our friends are now just our neighbors, not always the pleasant ones they once were. They once were. That's good expression, right? They once were. They once were. Not always the pleasant ones they once were. Not always the pleasant ones they once were. I would like to make our thoughts on this clear to all. Canada, we hear you. We respect and share your concerns. Like you, I am alarmed at the antagonistic stance the new US president is taking toward most of the rest of the world and at his strange choice of new friends. And I find his recent words and deeds against Canada particularly reprehensible. Personal insults against your Prime Minister, persistent threats to make Canada their 51st state, and a costly trade war that few people on either side of the border want. For decades, we at Rick Steves Europe have striven to create people-to-people connections and intellectual understanding by teaching our mostly American customers how to travel thoughtfully, be good global citizens, and get along better with other 96% of humanity. If this is political, then we are very much politically aligned with our neighbors to the north. And I am personally aligned with you as well. My grandparents homesteaded in Edmonton, Alberta, and my mother grew up in Vancouver, BC. I enjoy that I am often mistaken for being Canadian. While it could be because of my accent, my mom taught me how to talk, I like to think it's because of my decency. When I speak to Canadian audiences, which I often do during public television pledge drives, as 90% of Canadians enjoy access to PBS broadcasts and are generous and much appreciated supporters of public television stations in border cities like Seattle, Spokane, Detroit, and Buffalo. I like to explain how my TV shows are a Trojan horse injecting Canadian values south of the border. And I've long not so jokingly framed this as an extra bonus gift to Canadians considering a donation to PBS. My colleagues and I completely understand and deeply respect the movement across Canada to think twice about doing business with the United States. Frankly, if we were in your shoes, many of us would join in your principled boycott. At the same time, we believe it's important to distinguish between individual citizens and organizations and their country of origin. Traveling through Europe during good times and bad, yeah, that's a good word. Good times and bad, right? That's cliche. Good times and bad times is also okay, but good times and bad is more commonly used. We've been impressed and inspired by how Europeans, by and large, welcome and respect each individual traveler as just that, an individual, rather than painting us all with one broad brush, right? Painting us all with one broad brush. We recognize that you make a political statement in how you spend your dollars. It may help to consider that the lion's share of what you spend on a Rick Steves tour will ultimately end up in the hands of our European friends and partners, tour guides, bus drivers, hoteliers, restaurateurs, and other small business owners. Hoteliers, restaurateurs, right? We also proudly and generously use much of our profit to support ongoing philanthropic efforts that we believe reflect Canadian values, from addressing global climate change through climate smart initiatives to funding Bread for the World and our organizations that fight hunger around the globe, to supporting organizations such as the ACLU, which drives to keep the US government honest and accountable, to helping poor and disadvantaged young Americans enjoy educational travel abroad. Sadly, nearly all the causes we support as a part of our mission are in the crosshairs of our new president. In the crosshairs of our president. I have to look it up in the dictionary later. With all of this taken into consideration, if you feel strongly that in good conscience you can't continue to do business with a company that's based in the United States, we regretfully but respectfully accept that decision. Godspeed, keep on traveling, and we hope our paths cross again when things get better. Godspeed. Godspeed, keep on traveling. But if you are looking for a reason to continue doing business with Rick Steves Europe, let me offer this assurance. Godspeed. If everything goes smoothly, right, with God's wind, your sail goes on speed. But while we, like you, are doing everything we can to push back against the dangerous and reckless actions of the US president, we also remain fully committed to our mission of teaching good travel, fostering people-to-people connections, and striving to create better citizens of the world, one trip at a time. If that's the version of American values that you support, we would love for you to join us. And I believe you will find that the vast majority of our fellow tour members, regardless of nationality, share your values. That said, our country is politically diverse, as are the people who join our tours. We believe in the dual narrative approach to understanding worlds, both physical and metaphorical, that we encounter in our travels. Whether you are in Belfast or Jerusalem or navigating the divide between San Francisco and Abilene, you don't know a wall until you've talked with the people on both sides of it. And in that spirit, we welcome all travelers on our buses. We believe that by leaving home and then together, looking back at it from afar, we learn more about it and each other. And by broadening our perspectives through shared travel experiences, we grow closer. I think of it like an impressionist canvas. To paint a vibrant purple, Monet would mix blue and red on his palette. In order for his art to take on a special vibrancy, he's adapted two different colors side by side, knowing they would mix in the eyes of the viewer. Canada has always been the best neighbor the US could ask for. And even during this scary time, when our government is actively undermining the sovereignty of yours, we believe that as individuals, we can still be friends. In fact, that person-to-person friendship and solidarity has never been more important. We as a company and I as an individual citizen are doing everything in our power to bring civility and decency back to our nation. And we welcome Canadians to join us on tour as we explore Europe together. An open letter from an American-owned tour company to our Canadian travel buddies. Rick Steves eloquent, right? From this article, we learn such expressions as in the crosshairs of the president, Godspeed, through good times and bad, and what else? I forgot. So before I go, let's go back and see what I stored for you. Not always the pleasant ones they once were. Not always the pleasant ones they once were. Good times and bad. During good times and bad. Hoteliers, restaurateurs, in the crosshairs, good times and bad. So let's look up the crosshair, right? Crosshair. Mad. In the crosshairs. Crosshair. One of the several thin lines that pass through the center of lens in an optical device which forms a reference point. Oh, I see. One of the several thin lines that pass through the center of lens in an optical device, which forms a reference point. Crosshair. Oh man. So that's like a target reference. A reticule, which is known as reticule, is a pattern of fine lines and markings built into the eyepiece of an optical device, such as telescopic sight spotting scope, right? Here, crosshair is this, right? A perpendicular and vertical. Yeah, that's one. Crosshair. Yeah, here is crosshairs. Target, right? Zoom. So let's go back and see what was here. Sadly, nearly all of the courses we support as part of our mission are in the crosshairs of our new president. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening and have fun. Bye-bye.